Hello and welcome to India's Angels, the show that puts the spotlight on India's small but quickly growing community of angel investors, VCs and startup accelerators. I'm Shireen Bhan. As more young working professionals look to become self-starters, they are seeking risk capital and perhaps more importantly, the hand-holding that often comes with it. Like one entrepreneur on the show told us, if you find your angel while searching for your investor, you're pretty much sorted. So this week on the show, we bring you the inside look at how some of these angels go about doing what they do.
On the show this week, we meet serial entrepreneurs and angel investors Ravi Gururaj, Chinai and Ramesh Shah, who together run and manage the Harvard Business School Alumni Angels Association in India. Also on the show, what David McClure of 500 Startups is doing in India.
I don't look back in a rearview mirror at my life. I'm not really a should have, could have, would have kind of guy. I'm really a can do, will do, am doing.
And just spending a couple of hours with Ravi is enough to know that he's the kind of guy who's always on the go, always thinking 2 steps forward and multitasking like very few people can. Ravi has the classic back to India story. After an MBA from Harvard, he went on to start up 4 tech ventures in the US, 2 of which were acquired by Nasdaq-listed companies. He then returned to India and launched Iogic, a cloud-based tech company that was acquired in 2010 by Citrix Systems. And it is his success as an entrepreneur that's almost organically brought him to angel investing.
If you ask me what is an investment thesis I have, then I'd say it's try and be as early money in as you can, because that's when you can have the maximum impact on a company, on their trajectory. Later stage, I think the VC ecosystem here has developed enough that there are plenty of good firms that are willing to pick up successful founding teams and successful startups, right? But the very early stage is still an area where there's opportunity for angels like myself to get involved in. You know? And so I tend to invest there. And in terms of what stake I'd like, generally I don't want to own too much of the company because you really want to make sure that it's a balanced approach, right? That you're not too biased in your stake in the company, you're not too over-rotated on any one investment, that you're really doing it for the right reasons, right? And you're not overwhelming the company or its decision-making. So, you know, if you keep a relatively small stake, but keeps it interesting for you and you motivated in seeing their success, alignment is right, but interference is low, I'd say. No?
Over the last 3 years, Ravi Gururaj has angel invested along with other existing angel networks like the Indian Angel Network and also with peers like Rajan Anandan and Reharyan Khan in over 7 startups. But along with this traditional approach towards investing, Ravi is also experimenting with the reverse angel investor model in which he takes business ideas that he has to entrepreneurs to develop further. Here's how it works.
Meet Jebu Itiachan, a hacker, entrepreneur and a former Yahoo, Oracle and Infoscian. Himanshu Retharikar, a techie and former employee at Citrix who was looking to start up, and Shrikant, a marketer with deep dive knowledge of what works for B2C tech startups. This was the team that Ravi Gururaj put together to create Sync Us Up, a smartphone app that will make contact sharing and updating a lot easier.
Well, you know, the first time my wife and I got our iPhones, right? We were like, you know, we loved the iPhones, the first set, right? It was like a delightful device, awesome experience, you know. It was really a great smartphone. But, you know, Sridevi would always say, hey, there's something about this that's not that smart, which is the phone book, right?
Exactly.
The address book. And she was like, come on, you're not a techie. She teased me. You know, you should be figuring out how to fix this. You know, is there not a simple app you can go build? And honestly, forever I thought somebody would come and do it, right? It hadn't happened. Then I was like, okay, you know, come on. I keep saying this about angel investment and making, you know, building a venture with a good idea. That's when I went and found you 2 guys, right? To go out there and try and get this going, and Shrikant's helping too, right?
Would you agree, Himanshu, that your general perception or stereotype of angel is someone comes in, they fund it, and then they kind of leave you to your own devices?
Right.
That really hasn't necessarily been our case here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Especially in my case, right? So previous to Sync Us Up, I was with Citrix, and so I decided to start up my own company and give it a shot. But so I was seeking advice from a lot of people, and Ravi obviously happens to be one of them because he's heading the Citrix Startup Accelerator program, right? So I knew about him and I met him.
Yeah, but nevertheless, then when we were talking about your idea, I was like, yeah, maybe it'll fly. And I was like, why don't you look at this thing too, right? At the same time. And that's how we kind of, connected up. Same thing with Jebu.
Exactly, right?
So
So I came in and talked to you.
Startup.
Right, I was working on the Innergist, and that's when I came and talked to you, right? In fact, you were working with us, for
totally.
guiding us through what to do with Innergist and how to take it to the next level. And that's when you talked to me about Sync Us Up.
We're talking about social connect here, and Ravi as an angel connected with someone who was an angel for your company, right? So there's an angel to angel Sync Us Up too in some sense, right?
For this startup, which is still in stealth mode, the focus right now is getting the product to be just right.
You can even pick something from the scrolling list. For example, let's a PP nearby.
Right.
And you can just drag and drop him to the list.
Nice. That's a two-way.
That's a two-way. That's
That's very nice. Very nice.
So while VC investment is still some time off, Ravi has been mindful to put in a viable management structure so there's little chaos later on.
So, we've got a structure where, the founding team have equity in the company and, and nominal salaries till we can get a full Series A. And, each of them is a founder with, kind of the founder responsibilities that come with a founder, right? Which is, this is your company too. And, all I'm doing is facilitating, making it frictionless, right? Which is by putting in the first amount of money, because a lot of times what startups do is end up wasting a lot of time, trying to raise a little bit of money, trying to get, the first few employees on board, all of that. Right?
And I think the point that we should also add here is that we're a team of three, with Ravi being the mentor, the angel investor, the technical mentor, so to speak. We're putting in a lot of sweat equity. Right. So the investment he's given us actually gives us a runway for a long period of time.
I had many more doors opened more easily for me to make that first pitch. And so I realized how fortunate I was and how hard it is for others that don't have the same access, right? So I'm trying to knock down some of those doors for some of these entrepreneurs, right? To help them connect to the ecosystem, to help them connect to the right financiers, funders, angels, mentors, advisors, right? And that's part of, there's an old saying, right? African saying that it takes a village to bring up a child. And, building a startup is no different. It's not just Ravi, it's not just a couple of mentors or advisors, it's a whole village of ecosystem that you need, right? To kind of raise a successful startup. And, I just need to be part of that village in some sense.
We couldn't have said it better. It does indeed take a whole village to build an entrepreneurial ecosystem, and Ravi's desire to be part of that village is quite infectious, to say the least. In 2011, Ravi joined hands with Chinai and Ramesh Shah to launch the Harvard Business School Alumni Angels India chapter in Bangalore. Here's their story.
This asset class is still so nascent for all of us in India that we will probably be rewriting the rules in the next year or two.
Even to talk about returns 5 years window, it's too early for even to say. We're just testing the water. We think so. You have to be a long patience because it's just starting, so we really don't know.
Angels globally is a 500-strong angel community, and while their investments tend to be sector agnostic, their strategy is defined by always being the first money in. In India, the trio's mission is to accelerate the growth of India's early-stage startup ecosystem, and their ideal investment targets are really early-stage ventures that seek less than $500,000 as risk capital.
In terms of ticket size, I think, we're looking at anything that's first money in. By definition, that means 0 to about 500K. At the higher end, we'd probably, depending on interest in a deal, probably syndicate with others as well. We're very open to that. It's not like, this has to be an exclusive deal for us only. I think the more investors, the more eyes on a deal, especially value-added eyes and ears on the deal, the better for us. And, so we're really taking an inclusive approach there. I think in terms of sectors we're focusing on, I'd say it's stuff that is niche e-commerce that has high value add for India. Generally, e-commerce will be harder to kind of fund at this point. Mobility, enterprise software, education, health and wellness. We've looked at deals, very good deals across all of these. There are some where there are technology infrastructure plays in the IT space. We've looked at those as well, right?
Basically, we look at the team and Also, we look at is a member of the team anybody is part-time or full-time. Suppose in case if somebody is part-time, then probably that's a no deal for us. And we look at the sector, and if it is a large money involved, and going for the next round, if the involvement of the capital is too large, then probably we will relook at it, and unless we don't find any partner. The third thing we also look at it is which particular sector it is there. If it is highly competitive and there are too many players already, and they don't have any compulsive thing to show that what they are going to do it, and then probably we will say no to that.
Also, market size, I think, is an important one.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes we come across companies that are great for a particular geography, but aren't able to scale beyond that. So we do look for, you know, large market size, ability to penetrate India, and potentially also international.
And fundamentally, in these early stage deals, it's about the people, right?
And
As long as the people are great,
Absolutely.
so we expect them to pivot. We expect them to kind of take the zigzag that is the normal course for a startup, right?
So Ravi, I will even mention saying it's more than idea. I think probably we give more importance to the team.
Totally.
And you know, and to also build off what both of you are talking about, where we can have leverage. I think if you look at our 25-odd membership as part of HBS Alumni Angels, a lot of us have deep domain expertise. And we also look for opportunities where we can leverage that expertise. So that ends up being a unique differentiator.
And that's the value add.
Earlier this year, the Harvard Angels organized their first pitch day in Bangalore, which saw 11 carefully curated startups pitch their business plans to a room full of angels. Staying true to their mission of building an open, vibrant ecosystem, the angels from peer networks like Mumbai Angels, Bloom Ventures, Indian Angel Network also participated. One of the 3 startups to be chosen for funding is Iogic.com. It's a ticketing and event management solutions company.
Santosh Panda of Iogic.com has all the traits investors normally look for in an entrepreneur. He's attempted to start up twice and failed. His mistakes taught him to stay out of crowded markets. So in 2009, when he launched a ticketing and event management solutions company, he knew he was onto something. And when VCs told him they wouldn't invest without traction, he decided to bootstrap till the money came to him.
We told ourselves, let's wait, let's make a good impact in the market, let's build the platform properly, and so when the investors comes in, we can take it to a big level. I think they liked the product focus of ours. We liked HBS because HBS is a global individuals. Ravi Gururaj, Raj, and Ramesh, they've been there right there in Silicon Valley, having founding various companies and seen industries like ours being made over years. So I think that motivated us to go to them, bring them in for the strength that they have, understanding a Western market, understanding how such an industry grows over the years, and taking the benefit of having their mentorship and guidance to build a better platform for India.
And with its upcoming events in Pune and Silicon Valley, the Harvard Angels India chapter doesn't just want to bring global investors to India, it also wants to take its portfolio companies global.
Which is something that other groups are not yet, following a model like that.
Right.
So that one of the unique differentiators for us was to leverage the international networks that we had through this chapter, where we have, over 400 angel investors spread across, 6-7 different countries as part of HBS Angels.
Yeah, and that will be one differential factor when you compare with Mumbai Angels and Indian Angel Network.
Right.
That we have so much of international presence, and it can easily open any doors.
Right.
Or any mentorship can come.
But that said, Ramesh, we've been very open, right, in our approach to this, which is we actually, for our first pitch day, we invited both those groups, Mumbai Angels and Indian Angel Networks.
Absolutely, and that includes VCs as well.
Yep.
Having come from the VC world of over 7 years, it's a natural transition that we work more closely with the VCs, and the VCs work more closely with angel networks such as ours. And so I think we'll continue doing that. And I think that's something that entrepreneurs in a market like India appreciate that much more.
And these angels sure walked the talk. A couple of weeks back, they hosted entrepreneur and serial investor of 500 startups, David McClure, in Bangalore as his Geeks on a Plane initiative took its maiden flight to India. That's coming up on the other side of this break. Keep watching India's Angels.